we are using royal blue, white, and red poly burlap. Look how nice and flat they are. And you'll see when you use it flat, your petals turn out beautifully. Okay, so this is the other half of the red, white, and blue that I'm using from the other day. I am making and putting this sign on the center of my wreath. This is one of our new football ones. This one's 1965. It says, beware, ... you are entering a football zone. And it's a football player crashing through the wall, and the football player has a buffalo head. Girl, what team is that? Okay, so when I'm using these 8-inch signs, I like to scuff up the back because this is really smooth. And there is nothing for your glue to grip on, okay? So we're going to scuff up the back lightly. You don't want to do it too deep. If you do it too deep, you're going to start getting into the color. So I just kind of take a piece of sandpaper and go one way, go the other way, give it a good scuffing so that the glue actually has something to grip on. Okay? Then you're going to take your pipe cleaner and your cable mount. Now this is if you don't have a hole puncher for metal, which I do, and I don't know where it went. I'm going to take the actual padding off this cable mount because I want the cable mount to be plastic right onto the metal. So I just remove this pad. Oh, I didn't plug in my glue gun. Or turn it on. And the reason we remove this is just because after being hung up in the heat and everything, the adhesive on the padding will eventually give way. Now, in any heat, there's not too many glues that will stand up in like really severe heat, like some of your states have been getting. So if you do live in a very hot state, my recommendation to you is to actually put 2 holes just on the side of your sign and use the holes and pipe cleaners to put your sign on, okay? Because in that extreme heat, I don't care what glue you're using, it's not going to last. But up here in Canada, we don't get 110. So I am just going to use, I've been using this quick hold. It seems to work really well. It is made by the same company of E6000, and it does cure faster than the E6000. Well, this one's E6000 Plus. I'm not sure what the plus is. Anyways, I use this quick hold. I seem to like it a lot. A lot of people use DAP as well. We can't get DAP here in Canada, so I've been using this quick hold. All right, so I'm going to put some of this quick hold around the outside of the cable mount. Woo! Now that came out fast. Wipe the tip of it. And I'm going to center it. So these are 8-inch signs. So I'm going to go 4 and 4. Right where my thumb is, or my finger is. I'm just going to use the DAP. Now you can use like the E6000 and then hit it with some hot glue so you can use the sign right away. The DAP, or this quick hold, it grips pretty fast, okay? Or you can make sure that you do let it cure though, before you start really tugging on the pipe cleaner. So the best thing to do is do your sign and let your sign sit overnight before you actually use it, okay? You want to give that E6000 or whatever glue you're using a chance to really grip and cure before actually pulling, you know, the pipe cleaners and stuff like that. So my sign is ready to go. I'm just going to put it to the side. And we are going to start this flower. I am doing, of course, blue, red, and white. And I'm just using a Bubba petal. I wasn't planning on doing Flower Friday, so I didn't come up with anything new. But I was already working on this flower. So this is just the Bubba petal, and the team colors that I'm doing it for is obviously blue, white, and red. And you'll be able to see how nice it's going to look with the center in there. Now you can do, we pretty much have almost every color of poly burlap in stock. So if you want to do something similar for your favorite team, I do have a list here. And I'm going to go and try and match the poly burlap colors because I can physically see them in the warehouse. I'm going to try and match them up and attach each of the colors to the, not attach it, but link them to each specific football team. Okay, because there's different oranges in stock, there's different browns. So I wouldn't want you to buy the wrong blue, because like this blue, there's a royal blue, and there's an even lighter blue, and then there's a navy blue, and then there's a smoke blue, and then there's a country blue. So you're looking at like 5 different blues. So we are going to do the Bubba petal. So I'm just doing the outside row. I am using the large board. I am doing row 2. We're starting on row 2. We're doing the normal holes on row 2. So that is 16 of them. Okay. Row 3, I want to do 16 white. I want to do 16 of each color. So it's all there's not more of one color than the other. So I'm doing on row 3 the farther apart holes. So where it's spaced here, that's the normal hole, right? Instead of using the normal hole, I'm using the 2 farther apart ones. So we have, it'll be 16 for white. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. All right. And then row 4, I'm doing 8 red. And then row 5, I'm also doing 8 red, which gives me the 16 red. So we got 16 blue, 16 white, and 16 red. And that was a half a roll of each color. So I'm making 2 wreaths out of 1 roll of each color. So to make the Bubba petal, look how nice and flat it is. It's so nice when it's flattened out. We're going to do it curl up, which there's not much of a curl, but you can kind of tell it's, you know, start wanting to curl up a bit. You're going to turn it into a diamond shape in front of you. I always have the factory top left, bottom right edges, always the same. Always top left, bottom right. When I have it in a diamond shape, I am going to take the top corner, bringing it to the bottom corner. And the nice thing with poly burlap is it does fold and it lays nicely. So once you flatten it like this, it's pretty much going to stay like that, okay? It's not like normal Deco mesh, where normal Deco mesh will do whatever it wants to do. And then you can clip your edges, because these 2 corners up at the top here with that long, that's what you're going to see So that is what you want to make sure are even. You want a nice crisp point. And if you have a 10 by 10 perfect piece, it lines up really well. So we have a nice piece right here. And then I'm going to take this bottom corner and I'm just going to fold it up just below this long edge here. Okay, just like that. And then I put my left hand with my finger right down the center. So right where this point is, put my finger down, holding it down, and I'm going to flip the right side over my hand, just like that. And I'm going to make sure that these 2 points are the same size, like they're the same length there. Okay, so that's what we got. It looks like 2 little, I guess, rabbit ears or something. And then I'm going to, at the bottom here, where it's flat here, this is where we're going to pinch and make our nub. And for this one, I do the bottom. So I kind of put my pointer fingers right in the center. Okay, and then I bring, with my thumb, I'll slide the bottom up to the center. And then I'll take the top and slide it to the center. Okay, and that's right, this part right here is what we're going to put right into the zip tie. Okay, you're going to go into the zip tie about a 1/2 inch. So you know, you can just judge. I have a small finger, so about a fingertip is perfect for me. All right, and once you got it in there, you're going to pull it nice and tight. We can take our clips off now. And there's our petal. Now, it's poly burlap. No matter if you wood burn it or not, it is still going to have some strings. Just cut your strings off and try not to touch it too much. All right, and you can see why you have to do your petals. The factory edges is very, very important, because when we're doing this kind of wreath, we always want the factory edges showing. We don't want the cut edge showing, because the cut edge tends to have, you know, some strings and stuff. If you're showing the factory edge, it looks a lot more finished, and it actually, you know, it looks nicer. So that is the Bubba petal, and it's curving. The Bubba petal curves the same way. When you're doing the Rita petal, you're scrunching it up the middle, and the curves go both ways. So that is the difference between the Bubba petal and the Rita petal. Okay, once you get it in there, we're going to cut the zip tie. Now you can do all of row 1 and then go back and cut all your zip ties. We'll do this again. Curl up, turn it into a diamond, factory edge on the top left, bottom right. Let's bring this top corner down, line up the edges. So make a nice point up on this corner, a point this corner. Now you can put your clips on, but like I said, poly burlap really behaves itself. So once you flatten it, it pretty much stays like that. I'm going to flip this corner, bottom point up. Put my left hand, so my finger is running right down the middle. We're going to flip this over, right over your hand, and making sure that both are the same length. This one's a little bit shorter, so you're just going to adjust down here so that they're both the same. There we go. All right, and then put your fingers right in the center like that. Push down with your thumb. Bring the bottom in to the center, then bring the top into the center, and then you're going to put right into your zip tie, about a 1/2 inch, and pull tight. So again, your factory edges are showing, and you have a nice crisp petal. Okay, And I'm going counterclockwise because then if you go counterclockwise, you don't have to touch the mesh again to lift it up to make sure that your factory edges are showing. When you place it into the zip tie, if you're going counterclockwise, it automatically, the factory edges automatically show. Okay, we have one more. Oh, I already have one made here. So, and you can pre-make them, obviously, putting a little rubber band, and we do sell this 1,500 elastic bands that you just band it. And then once you've banded the petal, you can put it to the side and make all your petals first, and then go in and put them all onto the board. Alrighty, so that is row 2 finished, 16 blue. Alright, and now we're going to do white. And the white is the spaces that are a little bit farther apart, like I explained when we started. I have to take this bracelet off. This keeps catching. So if you have your petals pre-made, you can go around and just start sticking them in. Again, only about 1/2 inch into the zip tie. And we're going to do 16 of the white. Why am I not seeing any comments? Hopefully I'm still live. All right, well, I'm going to keep going. Hopefully I'm still live. All right, let's do the white. Same thing. Left, top left, bottom right. Top corner, bring it down. Line up your edge, making sure your corner, paying more attention to the top 2 corners. All right, flatten it. Bottom up just below this line. Put your hand, your finger right down the center. Flip it over. Do any adjustment you need to make sure that they're both the same length. Put your finger in the middle. Thanks Lynn. Bring the bottom up to the center, top to the center, and put it in your zip tie. And after you put it in the zip tie, you want to make sure that your petal is laying nicely. So before you start putting like the red on, it's much easier when your color, like the white, is all exposed. Fix them and then move on to your next color. So this is just a cute, like this is really an awesome project for a football wreath because it's nice to look at, and you know, when people around here, when they see something like this, they either think patriotic or Bills. So, especially if you have a football center in it. Alrighty, so that's 16 white, and now we're going to move on to the red. So there's going to be 16 total red, but I'm doing 8 on row 4 and then 8 on row 5. So we do still have some extras left over. I think there's 4 pieces still left over, and it's still the same rule that I used on the last wreath I made. So again, I still want to go counterclockwise. so I don't have to lift up anything. The factory edge lays on top of the next one. So what is everybody doing on this long weekend? Anybody have huge plans? We are moving Laurie to university tomorrow. She moves into residence tomorrow. I don't know if I'm excited or nervous or anxiety ridden. I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling yet. Monday is a holiday for both USA and Canada. So keep that in mind when you are ordering stuff. Okay, that's row 4. And then row 5 will come in and fill up these gaps between these right here. So row 5, I'm going to be using the normal holes and the shared holes. So this, I'm going to go down, back up, and close it till you hear that zip. And then the 2 center holes is where my pipe cleaners are going to go for my sign. And then after football season, for this one, I could put a patriotic, if I lived in the States, I could put a patriotic sign and have a dual purpose wreath. Now, if you're a divided house and you have 2 double doors, you could make one for one team and a flower for the other team. That would be cool. Now it's going to get tight in the center here on row 5 because the poly burlap is fairly thick. But do the best you can getting it in there and without, covering up the middle holes. If you do cover up the holes, it's okay because you can just use, this hole and this hole right across to put your pipe cleaners in. Petal's a little bit jacked up, but so if you're asking questions, I'm sorry, I can't see your questions. I don't know why. I do want to see what everybody's doing this weekend. can see comments. Hockey, we'll have to see. We gotta be really careful that you don't infringe on any copyrights when you're doing stuff like this. Now we're basically just using the colors, and the sign has no infringing on it, so gotta be careful. This piece is a little bit jacked up. All right, we have one more and we are done. So I made 2 football wreaths with 1 roll of red, 1 roll of blue, and 1 roll of white. And they're fairly large wreaths. So if you have double doors and you want to make 2 of these, you only need 1 roll of each color. Oh, last one is always the hardest to get in there. There we go. Okay, and I'll cut these off. And there we go. I need to zoom because this is, let's see how big it is. We're about 26 inches in diameter. All right, this is the back. So the blue was every hole, normal hole on row 2. The white was the further apart holes. There's 16 on row 3. Row 4 was the normal holes, 8 of them. Row 5 was the normal holes and shared holes. It looks like stitching going around. So that gives us 16 of the red. And then these 2 center holes are where I'm going to go down with my pipe cleaner and my sign. I am going to just take a zip tie, go in one hole, back up the other, and do it up till we hear some clicking. Cut the tail of the tie off, and then we have a hanger to hang our wreath. Okay, and now we're going to put our sign on. Now, I'm just going to loosely, I'm not going to pull tight, just so you guys can see what it looks like on. And just loosely twist it in the back. This petal is driving me nuts. And there we go. So tomorrow, once it's cured a little bit more, I'll pull it a little tighter, and then we'll clip these pipe cleaners shorter and put them back down the hole so we keep the back all nice and neat. And there we go. And then for this one, after our football season's done, you can change it out and put another sign in the center, maybe for patriotic or whatever. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to tomorrow at all. I will be crying. I don't know what I'm going to be doing actually, because I think my emotions are going to be everywhere. I have to fix, I don't like this petal. All right, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you for joining me on Flower Friday. It is pretty cool. Not bad for a football wreath, right? I could make a hanging bow with this football ribbon, but I think I like it like just like this. And then we're going to stop touching it so it stops spraying. But you can use any mesh. I just happen to have almost all the colors in the poly burlap, And poly burlap really is a nice mesh to make flowers like this. Because it behaves itself, it wood burns cleanly. The only thing is the fraying. But once you stop touching it, which I should stop doing, it will stop fraying as well. Alrighty, so thank you again for joining me, and hopefully Michelle will be back next week or the following week for, oh, I can zoom up. Let me hold it up. There we go. You can see the whole thing. It's pretty big.